Lower down
Fires.
the fan and say you turned it off.
Those co-friends bring in
I'm
all that
tired,
seating.
man. I'm real tired.
That's what's a lot of
It's
problems.
now 6 o'clock,
Exhausted.
and if you don't mind, we'll ask
Imagine.
Dr. Rivera to lead us in a word of prayer before the meeting starts.
Yes, sir. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day you've given us, this couple of days, and for all the blessings that we've received personally and with the institution that we're providing services for, the staff, faculty, and students. But most of all, we thank you for that unconditional love you have for us. We ask you to continue to bless us, especially the students who have to do work, and be with us tonight as we make decisions that we hoping will help our students, our faculty, and staff, and our taxpayers. And we ask this in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Thank you. It's now 6 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. As a first order of business, we'll read the minutes of the January 19th meeting.
Oh. I thought we were gonna do the consent agenda, no?
Hadn't voted on it yet.
Well, maybe we should vote on it.
It's not on the agenda.
Sorry. Okay.
It's on down number 8.
It is on the agenda.
We didn't do anything.
The Board of Trustees of Southwest Texas Junior College met in regular session January the 19th of 2023 in the Matthews Student Center, Blue Bonnet Room. Board President, Dr. Harry O. Watkins called the meeting to order at 6 o'clock p.m. Board members present were Dr. Harry O. Watkins, President, Dr. Antonio H. Rivera, Vice President, Tony T. Moreno, Secretary, Maria Elena Lara, Anito Shackelford, and Rogelio Munoz. Board members absent was Mr. Victor Lopez. Also present was Dr. Hector Gonzalez, President of the college. The minutes of the December 8, 2022 regular board meeting were read and approved with corrections as presented by Tony T. Moreno. Board President Dr. Watkins welcomed guests at the meeting, which included college personnel, Dr. Mark Underwood, Lisa Ermes, Margot Mata, Derek Sandoval, Wade Carpenter, Judy Estrada, Sandy Padilla, Isabel Alvarez, George Fernandez, and Frank Luna. Also present was Jake Sanchez. Audience to patrons, none. Quarterly investment report as presented by Lisa Ermes. Preliminary enrollment spring 2023 report presented by Margot Mata. Patient care technician program report presented by Judy Estrada. President's report presented by Dr. Hector Gonzalez. A motion was made by Maria Elena Lara and seconded by Anita Shackelford to approve the December 31, 2022 financial statement as presented by Lisa Ermes. Motion carried unanimously. A copy is attached. Discussion of consent agenda. A motion was made by Anita Shackelford and seconded by Dr. Antonio Rivera to add, revise, or delete local policies as recommended by TASB Policy Service and according to the instruction sheet for TASB Localized Policy Manual, update 44 with no changes. Motion carried unanimously, and a copy is attached. A motion was made by Maria Elena Lara and seconded by Rogelio Munoz to approve the local policy BD Local changes as recommended by administration. Motion carried unanimously, and a copy is attached. A motion was made by Anita Shackelford and seconded by Tony T. Moreno to approve the resolution casting votes for the recall of Real County Appraisal District Director Rupert Trevlin. Motion carried unanimously. A copy is attached. No action was taken on the item of nomination for Real Central Appraisal District. Board President Watkins called the board into closed session at 7:07 p.m. to consider A, evaluation of the president under Texas Government Code 551.074. B, employment-related matters under Texas Government Code 551.074. At 7:48 p.m., the SWTJC Board reconvened in regular session. A motion was made by Rogelio Munoz and seconded by Maria Elena Lara to extend College President Dr. Hector Gonzalez's contract through July 31st of 2026. Motion carried unanimously. A copy is attached. With no further business or action items to discuss, Anita Shackford made a motion to adjourn. Rogelio Munoz seconded the motion. Motion carried at 7:49 p.m.
Are there any corrections or?
I believe, the name here on the appraisal history, his last name is Sparks. They call him Trev Sparks.
Spark?
Right here on the back.
Yes. Yes.
His full name is Rupert Trevlin Sparks, Sparks.
So noted.
And they call him Trev Sparks.
Okay,
Or Trev for short.
thank you.
Sparks, okay?
Should there any other corrections or additions to be added? Need a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll so move with the noted correction.
Thank you. Anybody want to second that motion?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to recognize our guests. We have with us tonight J.J. Suarez, Jerry Martinez, Mark Underwood, Derek Sandoval, Lisa Ernest, and Wade Carpenter, as well as Ms. Compton. She didn't sign in. Welcome. Is there any audience to pages tonight?
No, sir.
Then we'll go on to the Child Development Program Report.
I teach child development here at the college. And as he said, my name is Ms. Compton. I am the program coordinator. We're going to look at the Certificate and Associates of Applied Science degree. We're an online program now. Look at our dashboard. And then on a side note, I am a car seat technician for here at the college, so I just wanted to share what we do here at the college for that. Again, I am the program coordinator here for child development. I don't know if I've been here 10 years or 11 years. I've been here for a long time. So our program offers a 1-year certificate program or a 2-year associate's program. And our program has transferred from DL to now online. So students, when they join class, they will see this. There's a getting started page. It has what the course is about. It has all my information to get a hold of me. It has a video about me. They can click here for their syllabus. This is their modules, and the modules are divided into different sections. And each section opens as the chapters open. So depending on how many chapters there are in a book is how many chapters are open that week. But mainly it's 1 a week. And then down here is a course user guide, and it has information like apps they can use, back in the to school and get their degree, because like Kids Are First requires them to have an associate. These were our graduates, 28, 27, 22, 18, and I'm hoping that this year, because our numbers are up, our numbers should be back up here on graduation. And then again, like I said, I am a car seat technician, and Mr. Fields, the law enforcement coordinator, has a grant where we have car seats here, and so twice a month we let me go here. We have a flyer right here, and we talk to the students here on campus, even people out in the community. I tell the students, if you know someone that is in need and need a car seat, we do the first and third Tuesday of every month at 4 o'clock. We show them a video about all the different types of car seats that a child should have and should be in, and then we show them, you know, all the safety features of the car seat, how to use the car seat, and if they need help, we help them install the car seat. And while we are in this training, a lot of parents have noticed, my other child needs a car seat, and so if we have a car seat available, we give them one for their other child as well. And so you can pass that along. And thank you.
So the car seats are courtesy?
They're courtesy, yes. We write on them, not for resale. Yeah, they're not allowed to resell them. But yes, if they show, they just have to tell me, hey, I need a car seat. I cannot say, well, I think you make too much money. I can't. If they tell me they're in need, I have to give them a car seat. Yes.
How many are you distributing per month and stuff?
It depends. The other day I gave out, I think 4 or 5. The week before that, and then some months we don't give any out. It just depends. I found out the other day nursing was asking me to contact the hospital, and I thought, well, maybe the labor and delivery were needing people. But they have a program going at the hospital, so she just wanted to let me know that if we don't have a lot of people needing car seats, that's why we're competing with them. But like we had the resource fair a couple of weeks ago, and I sat up there because a lot of students, you know, are here. I've gotten 2 from Rad Tech, 2 from cosmetology that, you know, hey, I need a car seat.
I think most people don't know how to install them right. Hell, my kids, I don't think I ever did it right. It's always too loose.
Well, and I learned a lot about that because I've never had kids, and I remember when I tried to put my brother's car seats in, I was thinking the latch and the seat belt, the more the better, and that's not crash tested, so we learn a lot and can pass that on to the community.
Can I ask you, what is the demand for the students coming out? We're getting how in the 20s and or so graduating every year, right?
Yes.
And so what is the demand and where is the demand here?
The demand is at like Avance, Kids Are First, and locally owned daycares and our child care facility here. I have a student right now that's in my program. She went through cosmetology. She's decided to switch, and she just got hired on in our daycare full time.
Okay.
Most of my classes are almost at 30. The 2-year program has always been less because some students are afraid of English and math. And so I'm hoping that with the pandemic and us being online, maybe it'll help some of those. I always encourage my students that if something were to happen to you and you couldn't work with kids, or you get tired of, you know, babies crying and changing diapers, if you at least had your associates, you would have an opportunity to do something else, another job. So I always try to encourage them, plus more money if you have your associates.
What is the income level for?
Some are paying around $10 an hour. Some locally owned daycares are paying as little as minimum wage. So it does factor into, they're not making a lot. But I also tell them to look at the cost of what they're going to make, and then benefits. And then over here, what are you going to make, and does it come with benefits to weigh your options?
Yeah.
Is there demand for the graduates?
Yes. I have daycares calling me all the time, asking me, do you have anybody? We're looking for somebody.
Thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a late arrival, Mr. Davis Powell, who apparently came late, so welcome to our meeting. Next on the agenda, we have a president's report. Hector?
Yes, sir. The only thing I'd like to update is we have received the electrical panels for the WIT building, and they're being installed. So that's,
Thank goodness.
thank goodness, we got those. We're still holding on the modular panels, but at least one of them is here, and they're already in the process of installing them. Been evaluating sites for expanding our truck driving for Uvalde. As you know, we have, every time we do a power line tech course here out of Uvalde, we follow it up with a truck driving, and we're looking for a place so they can practice backing up, inspecting the vehicles and so forth. Right now, we're using the Soros parking lot. We've also took back from Soros several classrooms, which are going to be a better home for our surgery tech program. We're already moving on the installation of the overhead lighting and the equipment necessary for the support of that surgery tech. It'll be in that middle section there of the Soros building. And then legislatively, been to Austin a couple of times visiting with our representatives regarding issues that are pertinent to us, specifically the new college finance approach. The bill has not been released yet. I'm told that it's finished, it's being reviewed, but we haven't seen the detail of the bill. We're anxiously awaiting that. And then also, reminding them of the negative impact the downward expansion of Soros would have on our institution. And that's pretty much the essence of our report, sir.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have a financial report. Ms. Armis? Congratulations on your husband's selection as
Thank you.
Volunteer of the Year.
He was very surprised. Okay, page 1, Statement of Revenue and Expenditures for the 5 months ended January the 31st, 2023. I'll read out the year-to-date numbers. Revenue, total educational and general, $22,555,295. Student aid, $9,587,121. Auxiliary enterprises, $648,969. For total income year-to-date, $32,791,385. In the expenditure category, total educational and general, $19,912,118. Student aid, $12,229,401. Auxiliary, $644,620. For total operating expenditures before debt service, $32,786,140. And our bottom line ended up being year-to-date a total excess expenditure of $1,216,593. On pages 2 through 11, you will find the supporting details. I'll give you a few minutes to page through if you have any questions. On page 12, the statement of net assets without GASB adjustments. Total current assets, $22,135,442. Total non-current assets, $47,202,730, for a total asset base of $69,338,172. Total current liabilities, $9,089,630. Total non-current liabilities, $17,406,860, for a total liability of $26,496,490. bringing us to a net decrease in net assets year-to-date of $1,216,593. Pages 13 through 17 are the summary of the account balances for cash and CDs. On page 15, total cash in bank, $6,398,760. Certificates of deposit, $14,200,000 for a total account balance of $20,598,760. Pages 16 through 18 are all the CD investments in detail. Page 18, total CDs, restricted, $8,700,000, unrestricted, $5,500,000, for a total CD balance of $14,200,000.
And it's up on to 4 point something, 4.7,
Yes, sir. If you look at the
renewals.
6-month one that we just did in December was 4.71. And then in January, this current year, the 1 year was 4.67. 4.76, excuse me.
Good.
Page 19 shows all the maturities and renewals. Page 20 is the scholarships. You'll notice an increase. We're now at $1,016,344 due to the increase in the interest rates. Page 21, investments. I did not get the Will Miller in time for print, but I did make a phone call today and got the balance. The Will C. Miller updated balance for January the 31st is $275,074. Plant funds is $165,798. And page 22 indicates that all of our investments are in compliance. Yes, sir. The president has some items to go over. We did have a decrease in net assets for this year due to a drop in tuition for our projection for the spring.
So when we look at enrollment as a whole, we had, everything is geared on semester credit hours, and we had a budget built on 115,000 semester credit hours for the whole year. We know what it was in the fall. We're about 95% of where we need to be in the spring. We have second 8-week enrollment coming up in what, 3 weeks? Potential for some ads, and then summer. So when we take that and compare it, we're going to be about 7,000 credit hours short. So we looked at that. We also looked at our expenditure level and took what we spent the last 5 months and then projected if we continue spending at that rate for the next 7 months, we should be under budget by $1 million because we're not spending everything. We don't have the load, the expense load of carrying those additional. We've got some vacancies that remain unfilled. We're being judicious about those. The one that is weighing us down is as you recall, the insurance that we had been accustomed to paying and budgeted for about $170,000, and we're close to $800,000 in
Yes, sir.
insurance costs. So that's a tough $600,000 expense there that we're trying to shore up the best we can. But we feel at the rate we're going now, we should end up at least within that range of $600,000 at the end of the year, which is the insurance cost that we didn't account for. Knowing that, the enrollment trend, we had a decline last year. This year, our enrollment went back up compared to last year, but when you look at compared to pre-COVID, we're still down. And that's not unique to us. It's across, I would say, 90% of the community colleges. But the majority of them, like us, stopped the slide, and we're reversing that. The other thing is we're further down the agenda, we're asking to adjust our tuition. Our last tuition was in 2018. We wanted to do it last year, but by the time that we were putting that together, we started registration in April, and we didn't feel comfortable making a change in June and then having to rebuild the students that had already enrolled. So that's why we're doing it early this year. Registration begins in April. So that should bring in an additional $600,000 in revenue to help offset our additional cost. And like you know, everything else has gone up considerably. So we feel the modest adjustment will help for next year. The other thing is we know technical programs are the area that is in demand. We're expanding and opening up a construction science that is grant funded in the fall. We're starting an electrician apprenticeship program, cybersecurity, and we're looking to expand power line tech full-time in Eagle Pass. We have a waiting list for those students, so if we could run both Uvalde and Eagle Pass concurrent, we'd have enrollment for them. The other thing is, as I stated in the President's report, we haven't seen the bill for the new community college funding model, but they have put in an additional $650 million to help fund what that bill is going to look like. Once that bill, that we can analyze that bill, do some data runs, we should see significant increase in revenue for our institution. There's also a piece that covers dual credit, which will help us tremendously because we have a lot of dual credit students that would be eligible because of free and reduced at their district. So things are looking good for the 23-24 year. So we're trying to manage expenses in the current year so we don't get too far behind. The other thing I will remind you that over the last 5 years, we grew our fund balance from $1 million to $15 million. Now, five of that came from the Mackenzie Scott, but the other 10 we were able to grow through the COVID years and really manage our expenses and be able to get recouped for lost revenue from the COVID federal money. So I think we're in a good spot. We're monitoring it. We're keeping our eyes on expenditures, and if we just keep the same pace, we'll be fine at the end of August. I hope that explains.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Next on the agenda, we just
Need a motion?
Motion.
need a motion to accept the report. Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion passed. Next on the agenda, we need to discuss the consent agenda.
Need a motion?
Do we need some discussion first? Does anybody want to discuss it? Anything to talk about?
I think it'd be good. I mean, I guess the issue is what's going to be included in the consent agenda. It seemed like last time there was some concern about some of the board members felt like they wanted to have the information beforehand. The one thing I would think that we should be able to have on a consent agenda would just be the minutes of the prior meeting, right? Because it's sort of, even if you're giving it to them that day, sort of, they don't need to read it to you. You can read it yourself. I mean, but
Well, I'm in favor of the consent agenda. The reason is, because when you and Deco get together to put the agenda together, for our meeting, based on what you have there, then you two decide what is going to be the consent agenda. And whatever you have, you decide what it's going to be would correspond to, say, the minutes, number 3, should correspond to what's going to be on the consent agenda. You send it to us, then at the meeting, that's when you come in and you say, was there anything that you want to change? And then any one of us can say, well, number 3, I want to take it out because I want to discuss it. The rest, if there's no other ones, then we vote on it. And that's it. The board, really, it's really in control of the whole thing anyway.
You mean you don't want to be here for 3 hours for a meeting?
No?
We got no reason to get together if we don't have.
Yeah, I mean, my experience is a consent agenda is generally for items that are non-controversial, that are routinely approved, that the board is given beforehand, such that there really isn't generally a lot of discussion. But he makes a very good point that if there is an item that one of the board members feels needs to be addressed, could yank it out.
Yeah. So, I mean, very simple.
Dr. Gonzalez, I don't know how familiar you are with how other colleges do their agenda. Is this a...
They vary, some of them have the minutes, different report items that, obviously, if you had the child development report beforehand, like you have my report beforehand, I mean, that would be, possibly included in there unless you had an update to it or, you wanted to discuss something on it. I've seen the financial statements on it. And again, this meeting is not a good example because you didn't get your packets till yesterday if you got them.
Yeah.
They were delayed in the mail. But ordinarily, you'd have time to review and you're like, okay, well, I'm fine with the consent on that, or I'm not fine. I want to ask questions about it, and we pull it out and we do it like we did it today. So I think it gives you the best of both worlds. And Mr. Lopez, as you said, Dr. Watkins and I can sit the week before and say, I recommend these 2 items for consent, and
Yeah, perhaps, for example, the minutes or the consider and act on the financial statements. I mean, I would think that would be.
Consent item, really. Unless there's something wrong, like you added Sparks to the last name, that, if you knew beforehand, you take it out and said,
Or the way
make a correction.
that we did it on the city council is you have the consent agenda and you say, well, I'll move to approve the consent, save for this one, I make a correction on this one, or I think it's a good practice, it's time. I'm sure they all like sitting here after a long day at work.
So, I would like to make a motion that we go ahead and start using the consent agenda.
Which items do you want to include on the agenda?
Using consent agenda, I'm gonna leave it up to you and Hector to
Okay,
come up with the consent agenda.
It's up to us to leave off anything we don't want y'all to hear.
You want to give that man that much power?
No, because we're gonna take it away when we vote.
No, I think as a matter of practice, like the financial statements and the minutes are not generally real contentious, right? Because it's just reading us, it's just reading a page that you're giving us. That's sort of the problem.
Like your board report, your president's report can also be a consent agenda. Any correspondence, that doesn't require action can be a consent agenda.
Yeah.
Proposals, anything, that.
Well, maybe, the only thing I will say, I'd like the president's report to be orally, because it gives him a sense to add.
Yeah.
Because that requires a little more, it's not, what's written on the page, there may be more to it, whereas with the financial statements of the minutes, you're just reading what's right in front of me. So I second the motion, but I would suggest that it's the minutes and the financial statements as a matter of practice. But the president's report, maybe let him elaborate.
If there's anything else that you two decide.
in addition to those, okay.
So we have a motion and a second, so all in favor?
Aye.
Seems universal. It's adopted. Next, we have an item on the agenda to change the March board meeting.
Yes, sir. So our March board meeting falls during the week of spring break on March the 16th. We ask the board to consider moving it to the 23rd.
Any discussion?
What,
March the 20th.
March the 23rd instead of the 16th.
I second it.
So we have a motion and a second to change the March board meeting from 16th to the 23rd. All in favor? Motion adopted. Next on the agenda, we have an act to consider an act on Chittum Center expansion bids.
Yes, sir. This is item number 10 in your packet, and we have our architect, Davis Powell, here, who assisted us in evaluating the two bids that were submitted. One of the firms submitted an incomplete packet because of their bonding. They didn't have the appropriate bonding for the project. You can see that on page 2 was the submittals for a total of 1.174 for Frontera and 1.101 for Sandoval Construction. We're asking the committee that reviewed them. I have the evaluations here. Mr. Powell is here. VP Sandoval is here. They can answer any questions you might have, but we're asking the board to approve us moving forward with Frontera Construction and authorize us to further negotiate, see if we can minimize that $74,000 difference between the two. And I believe Frontera has done some work for us in the past. Trying to remember what building.
They did the Chittum campus.
They did the Chittum already, okay, yeah, so they know their work.
Yeah, they know the job site for sure.
Where is Sandoval Company, where they're from?
They're out of San Antonio.
No relation?
Derek?
It's my understanding that they've done smaller projects, nothing of this scope.
Correct. The largest one that I could track down a reference on was a little addition to a community center in Valverde County. I talked with Carl Lesser about that. I remember it, it was from about 10 years ago. It was valued just at $200,000, I think. So these days it's probably worth $350,000. Still a little bit short of
And who's going to oversee this, the project? I mean,
So they have their own general contractor, that's who Frontera would be, and then Mr. Powell would help us with the progress, right?
correct. Yeah.
Authorizing payments and so forth.
lowest bid is Sandoval, by 70,000 or so, right?
They are, but they didn't provide the bonding
Bonding.
for the project.
That throws them out, huh?
Right, and
Automatically.
so what we're asking is to approve Frontera, but also to authorize them to negotiate with them and see if we can.
So is that's
Lower.
your recommendation?
That's my recommendation, sir.
Yep.
Well, I'll go ahead and move that we accept the recommendation of the college president as far as Frontera is concerned.
Second that? We need a second?
A second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the expanded bids for the Chittum Tech Center. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item is to act on tuition fees effective fall 2023.
Yes, sir, this is item number 11 in your pack. So we've done an analysis there. If you look at the second page there, we kind of broke down what the previous changes to fees and increase, and then what semester, what year they occurred. You'll see in 2019, we had a tech general use fee of $3 and a tech fee from 8 to 10. Prior to that, in the spring of 18, we did have a $4 increase in tuition, 4 in general use, and then 4 in out of district. This year, we are recommending, again, effective for the fall 23, a $2 increase in tech, bringing it to $12. Tuition from 61 to 65, which would be a $4 increase. Out of district, a $5 increase of 65 to 70, and then a non-resident of $15 from 202 to 217. And also, I would share with you that the Pell Awards, which is the majority of our students are on a Pell Award, that has also gone up considerably from $61.95 in 2019 to $7,395 for this year. We don't have the 23-24 rates yet, but that's what they said right now is $7,300. So if you look at an out-of-district student, for back on the first page, for in-district full-time, it's $1,300 a semester tuition and fees for a total of $2,600 in tuition and fees, with a Pell Award of $7,300, means that they get $4,700 for either room and board, books, living expenses. If it's an out-of-district student, it's $2,100 a semester, bringing their total to $4,300. It still leaves them $3,000 for room and board or books, etc.
What percentage of our students are Pell?
I would say close to 80%. If you take out the dual credit, because dual credit's not eligible for Pell, it's about 80 to 90% that are on federal award.
Do you think the increase would cause a further reduction in people enrolling? I mean, would that cost make a, for those 20%?
I don't think so. I mean, you're looking at a $4 increase times 12, so you're looking at a $48 increase over the semester. On that second page, at the very top, just for comparison, I've captured Alamo, Laredo, our two adjacent colleges. Now, granted, if any of our students would elect to go to Alamo or Laredo, they'd be paying out of district over there. So they're out of district. Alamo, for example, is $220 an hour, and Laredo is $188 an hour, compared to ours, which would be $169.
Well, the one thing that's certain is that just with inflation, that absolutely everything is more expensive.
It is.
I mean, everything.
You said it's been since 2018 that we haven't raised rates? Really that long? Seemed like just yesterday.
Yeah.
Everything. Madera, fuel, everything.
Go buy a dozen eggs.
It is what it is.
What?
Do we need a motion?
Yes, sir, please.
Do I hear a motion to increase the tuition fees effective fall 23?
Also move.
She beat
She
you.
moved.
You're gonna have to be second.
Okay. They'll blame you, not me.
All in favor of the motion,
Any increase.
signify by saying aye.
Who's second?
Shackelford and Munoz second.
Munoz.
We'll put your name first on there.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passed. Motion's passed. We need to reconvene now in closed session in accordance with the Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.074, to consider employment of vice presidents, chief of staff, employment-related matters. Consider employment of vice president and chief of staff. Hector, do you
Yes,
have a
sir.
recommendation?
Yes, sir, I'd like to first make a statement that the Vice President, Chief of Staff are doing an excellent job, and I'd recommend that the contracts for the following administrative personnel listed on the memo, that their contracts be set to expire August 31st, 2025.
Do I need a motion?
Let's go ahead and make a motion, we accept the recommendation of Dr. Gonzalez.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Is there any further business to come before the meeting today? I guess you get to make the motion.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
I will second that motion.
All in favor, stand up and leave.
I'll abstain.